Hey guys, got the standard set of gear here. We have a Karve Christopher Bradley with the B open comb. Should be fine today because it's more of a 24-hour growth other than unlike yesterday. We've got the B9A from Declaration Grooming with a bristle Brushwerks handle. Nice tortoise coloring here. And I like the shape. And it's a 28mm brush, and so maybe that's why he was able to give it a nice big shape that I am able to hold on to. The tips are not jelly. They are grouping together a little bit right now, but they don't really gel, and I'm happy about that. This is not the bead blasted surface of the Karve, as you can probably guess. This is a stock surface. I haven't polished it up yet. I have just done hand polishing with something like Brasso or a chrome polish. And I like it so far. I'm glad I did it because you can't undo it, right? Going to be using the Nacet today. So now we are within five more shaves, and we'll hit 365, a whole year's worth of shaving on one blade. Not consecutively, but nonetheless, I think it's pretty cool. The fine accoutrements fits perfectly in my vintage Old Spice mug. And this is Santal Absolut. This is the one I'm doing usage testing on. Get my face wet here. Actually, before we do that, let us put the Nacet blade in. Here's the counter card with 360 put down on there. And so we have the Karve plates. Here's the Nacet blade with the 3 dots, and you can see the little bend I put on the blade back at use 225. You can also probably see some of the tea staining and water staining and stuff from when I was using the same razor in it over and over. I have cleaned it with alcohol a few times during its use. This is the Gladius handle, and it's the 3.25 length, and I've found that I really like that length for this razor. Alright, there we go. I may actually have to order the 3.25 handle in the standard look as well, because I really like the standard also. Give me some options, right? Alright, so the blade's in. It's the B open comb, so in a sense it's kind of mild, maybe close to the middle range in general. They say that the open comb can be considered to be close to the solid bar that's one notch above, so this kind of will give you the same feel as a C solid bar or the B open comb. All right, now that the blade's in, I can get my face wet. Okay, so we're going to load up, and this is a big brush, and this mug is not, as I shake water out of the brush here, the mug is not very roomy for this size of brush. 15 seconds is often all I need for this soap. Gives me plenty of lather for what I need. I can't remember if I've used this one on this or not. Let's just go for 20 since there's not a whole lot of movement, in there. All right, 0, there we go. So we'll go to the 10 mark on the next brush. The complaint that I have against this knot is not on the tips. They did start out being not all that soft, but that has changed over the first, it took maybe 4 uses before it. Oh, and there we go. That is 20 seconds of loading. Quite a bit of water, even after I shook out all that water. Quite a bit of water was still in the brush, and so it did definitely come out. Getting some of the extra. Do a little face wash here. So what was I talking about? I noticed the time, and so I quit talking. That's fine. Oh, the tips were soft. The tips became soft after I started using it, but the backbone is still very much a problem. And I kind of believe it's not going to get better. I think it's pretty much where it's going to be. And that's okay, because there are other people out there who like more backbone. And I can find one of those people, if this one happens not to be the right match for me. All right, so let us work on loading up the lather. Hey, on a recent video, I posted, or I mentioned about the awesome set of international people that I have as viewers, and that I really enjoy that. Peter Sutcliffe replied from West London, I believe, and I've commented, interacted with him a lot in the comments. He said, cheers from the UK. Very cool. And then Cook is the last name. Now, is he a Peter Cook? I think so. Do I have two Peters, and that's why it's working in my brain? Do I have two viewers named Peter? He's in South China. And one of the problems that he faces in South China is just the availability of products. And I do have some other viewers who've reported that they're in places like Indonesia, Malaysia, and they just can't order products like we do in kind of more reliable parts of the world, because the shipping systems are corrupt. They say a lot of times the stuff will be taken or held hostage, metaphorically speaking. And maybe they have to fork over just way too much money to get those items released, or some situation like that, where it's just a big problem to get good shaving supplies. So we can be thankful if you're in an area where it's easy to have access to good shaving stuff. So we've got 2 teaspoons in this lather. One problem with the brush, I had it sitting up on a table, and then I moved something, and a flap of a suitcase. I'm just going to go ahead and shoot another 2 teaspoons in. So kind of going the shortcut route today. And so the flap of the suitcase, what I didn't know was it landed on my brush. So as I grabbed this brush to use it today, I noticed that some of the hairs were flipped over to the side. And I thought, oh no! But then I just settled myself that I bet once I get this thing wet and work it in a shaving environment, and then I strop it on a towel, I bet I won't be able to tell which were the problem areas. So we'll see at the end of the shave if that's true. With all this density, if you are a person who has hand problems or arm strength problems, or if you are older and you face those kind of issues, then maybe these big dense brushes aren't a good idea, because it's working my arm, it's working my forearm, just trying to hold on to this thing. I mean, this handle's okay, but it could definitely be better. Takes quite a bit of force to hold on to it, as it is slippery and gets soap on it. But the good news is we've got some really nice lather going here. And let's just go ahead and use it. I'm I'm going to keep it, nah, let's put a little bit more water in it. Let's put a whole teaspoon, so that's 5 teaspoons. And we'll just mix until we feel like what we just added is incorporated well enough. As you see, I'm taking a different grip on the handle. See if that prevents excess fatigue. Then maybe this is when you're going to get lather on your thumb all the way up to your wrist. All right. Well, the 20-second load, probably unnecessary. Look at that, tons of awesome lather. Let's do that again. Look at that little curl. We can grab more of it. Oh, that's that is some good lather right there. That looks good. That's lather good enough to eat. All right, I'll get my face wet one more time. Okay. All right, guys, we have a guest star today. This is my son, Zach.
Hello.
And he has, as you can see, a little bit of redness in his cheeks. We think it's from those masks that he has to wear all day at school from because of the COVID thing. And so it's looking a lot better. We found some antibiotic type stuff to put on it. But there we go. And so he likes to jump in and shave with me sometimes. And so today, Zach, the razor you're going to use is this Fatip. And it is an open comb. And I have used this before with this old blade, but right now I have the Karve Christopher Bradley razor for that. They're both open combs. You can see the teeth in the safety bar there. And so that one's going to be for you, but we'll wait for that. You can share the same brush as I have, and I was about to put it on. Okay, now, while I put this on my face, you can go ahead and splash some water on your face.
Got it.
And here's the cold, just a little bit of water. And then I am going to work this into my face. Often when he joins me, he has a bowl and he mixes up his own lather. This time he kind of joined me in the middle, and so he doesn't quite have his normal setup of gear. And this brush is going to be very different than one that you've tried before. Because this is a badger brush, but you've used a badger brush before.
Yeah, I remember that. I liked it.
Yeah, but this one's very dense. And so the hairs, they don't bend quite as much. The tips will be really soft, but they don't bend quite as easily. All right, so I believe maybe I've worked that in well enough. There we go. And so how we work it, how we get it ready for you is we'll just push it down in the soap, in the lather, so that it kind of starts to fill up the bristles.
Okay.
All right, there you go. Yep.
Let's do this thing.
All right, now here, let's switch places. And you can work on that. Yep, and we can tilt down for the Zach cam. And I don't really have any fear of, a rash or anything communicating, because this is soap after all. It has anti-bacterial tendencies. And then for me, I have Chiseled Face Midnight Stag as the aftershave. And if this stuff doesn't kill any bacteria, I don't know what will. It's mostly alcohol, so that's got good bacteria. Oh, you're doing great. Yep. And of course, because Zach doesn't have any whiskers, his razor does not have a blade in it. But soon enough, let's see what, maybe 4 years from now, 5 years from now, you will have to deal with shaving, and you can pick whether you want to go electric or whether you want to use these kinds of razors or whatever you want to do.
Well, depending on right now, I really want to use one of those.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Does that feel good? How'd you like that brush?
I liked it. I really liked it.
Okay. Soft?
Yeah.
You feel the softness in the tips?
Yes.
But then it didn't really flex very much when you were moving it around,
when I
right?
moved around, it was just like a stick.
Yes. Yep, we call that backbone. We call that the bristles. We say the bristles have a lot of backbone. When that's it. Now, what do you think about the scent on this one?
I like it. I really like it.
It's definitely not a kid's scent.
Definitely.
This is Sandalwood. This is a Santal Absolut. It's a sandalwood type scent. It's not fruity or anything like that. All right. Okay, so we both have now. Also notice, see, my lather's not going away. That's a sign of a good lather. It hasn't, dissipated or anything like that. All right. So here is your Piccolo, one of my favorite razors. Oh, and then, yep, thank you very much. And I've got and then we'll start with use number 361 of the Nacet blade. All right, here we go. And Zach, you can just go whenever you want. Zach is the place where I often send my Razor Rock soaps. He has enjoyed, I think maybe Al Capone, Triple X. You remember that one, Zach? I think you.
Oh yeah.
You like the Triple X?
I really like that one.
It's been too long since you and I have shaved together.
Definitely.
Yep, there you go. And just as I kind of expected, this old blade here is doing just fine, just fine with about 24 hours of growth. And I think, oh yeah, I'm going to take some of the beard lather here, the goatee lather, and I can reapply for another kind of pass. Now you see the stripes that you're making in your face?
Mm-hmm.
Now exactly, but now that means, if you had a real blade in there and you were making stripes, that means your angle isn't quite right. You need to lift the handle a little farther away from your face. Like instead of like this, you might need to lift it a little farther out.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
that's working better.
Mm-hmm.
Now stripes.
Of course, you would have known that because if you would have had it too far down like you were, then you would not have been feeling your hairs being cut. Okay, very good.
Feeling something dragging like a rake on my skin.
Well, yeah, it's not too bad. You've used an old type before, and that definitely feels different than the old type, I think.
Yeah, I think it got broken in a factory. Remember that one? 3-piece?
Yep, exactly.
It was like this. It's have to have one of those pins broken.
That's right, yeah. A lot of times that's very common because if a person drops something, it's probably going to land on a corner, and that's going to be the corner piece of an old type. All right, I am going to rinse my face. All right, now I'm going to take some lather, put on my second pass of lather. There we go. Now, do you want to do a second pass, or are you happy where you are?
Second pass.
All right, sounds good. You feel free to push it down in the lather and charge it up, kind of like I did before. Don't push it down super hard.
I'm not.
Very good. Oh, more than that. You can do more than that if you want. There you go. Yep. All right, looking good. So now I'm going to do cross grain here, and cross grain on my cheeks means going sideways across like this. Except when I'm near my goatee, because I need to follow that line. Very comfortable pass now that a lot of the hairs have been removed from that first pass. So you, sir, are now a part of a series. A series of uses of this Nacet blade. And we are going to get to 365 uses, and you're going to have a place in that. Because just about every one of them, maybe 2 of them have not been recorded, but just about every shave has been recorded. All right, now I'm going to rinse. How are you doing? Oh yeah, very good, very good. Now, if he had a blade in his razor, I would probably not use the same brush because, you know, since we don't exactly know what his rash is, the cutting of skin and stuff, that's a whole different story. But since there's no cutting involved or scraping, I felt fine with that. All right, so my second pass is done, and you're mostly done with your second pass. Very cool. I have a friend online that watches sometimes, and his name is Buzz.
Oh.
And he tells me that he shares shaving gear and stuff with his son as well.
Yeah. It must be nice.
Oh look, we've got a big old blob of lather down in the floor. You can put it between your fingers. Sometimes if you want to feel how good of a lather you have, you can put it between your fingers and rub it. You can feel free to grab a dollop from the bowl there, because we're going to have extra.
Oh,
you can feel
that's really good. This is really good.
You can feel how slick it is.
Really slick, kind of puffy though. I like it.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of air in it there. Yep.
Also, it's kind of stretchy.
Yes. That's we want that. We want that stretchiness, the peaks that develop as you're pulling your hand apart, things like that. Now, everybody might like it a little bit differently. Some people like it really dry, where it kind of looks like stands up on its own.
Oh yeah.
But some people like it really wet, even where it's dripping off of your face. Some people like it like that. I like mine really wet, but not quite dripping off of my face.
Yeah.
There are some times where I have mixed it up too wet, put a little bit too much water in it, and my shirt has had big old white dollops. It looks like pigeons have landed on me and pooped all over me. Yeah, I've got a couple. Some of those are water spots, but sometimes it's water and soap and it's all white, you know. Okay, got my trouble spot right there. Oh, and you are the one that got to go with me last year, over a year ago, to Greensboro, where we went to that shave meetup.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty cool.
And I got that blue shaving handle that I've used on this channel a lot. I put an Umo badger knot in it, and I use it a lot. It's that Wild West, dang it. Not exactly, Wolf Whiskers. I think Wolf Whiskers, yeah. And I really like that brush a lot. And some of the soaps that I got on that trip I've used on here and all that. Pretty fun.
I think I remember one. Something. I don't remember what it was called, but I think I remember the picture. It was like a diamond or something on it.
Yeah, I think so. We got you a couple of brushes.
Yeah.
And you got to meet Stephen Joyner of Dogwood Handcrafts. Remember when we went to that table and he had on stair steps, he had a bunch of brushes on display?
Oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
He was nice.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And we talked a little bit about soap and brushes, and he said hi. He's a nice guy.
Really nice.
And then you went and you played at the bar outside with, there were some games and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And some TV going on.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool. Alrighty. So I've got my 3 passes done. Face feels great. No irritation. No razor burn at all. Face is very comfy. It looks like I got a good close shave. So I'm going to get a good rinse now, and we'll see how close the shave was. Alright. I am ready. I just checked out. The cut was actually a lot better than I thought. So I'm really happy about today's shave. That's, I guess you were you helped my skill to increase, and I got a great comfy and close shave, which is what I'm always going for. So time for the Midnight Stag, and this may be a little bit too much for you. I remember last year when I used it for the entire month of August, you guys would always moan and Dad, do you have to use that stuff again?
Oh yeah.
It
drove us crazy.
This is some manly hard stuff. We've got gasoline, leather, smoke, and wood. There's the notes all listed under the title right there. Leather, gasoline, smoke, and wood.
Yeesh.
And here, you can smell my hands.
Oh!
This is a... Someday, you might like something like this.
I think in a billion years.
Okay, in a billion years, I'll call you up. And you can try it out.
Yep. Or that's when I cut off my nostrils.
Yes, or that's when we can cut off your nostrils. All right, yep, very good. Okay. Now, you can finish off getting all the soap pieces with the towel over there. Over that way.
Got it.
And I am really happy with today's shave. Very nice, close, casual, enjoyable shave. Zach, thank you for being my guest today. And I love my boy. And let's see. Let's see, is there anything special? The brush still has a lot of, this is my sum up where I talk about all the things in the shave.
Oh.
So if I was surprised by something or something was extra special, I try to mention that. The scent strength was very generous. Like you smelled it while you were using it, right?
Yeah.
Yep, a good bit. So that's a good one. At least I like the scent strength on there. And then I will tell people the ratio that I used. I used 5 teaspoons of water for 20 seconds of loading with that soap. And that generated plenty of lather for he and I. And we still have 2 or 3 passes left over. So we had lots of lather. And I'm glad I had extra today since you stopped by for a visit. Okay, I told them the water and soap ratios. That way, if they're trying to make this kind of lather at home and they're having trouble, it might help them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And everything else was great. I'm very happy with the B open comb with the, and this is a 3-piece as well.
Kind of like mine, except it's way better.
Yeah. So many of them are 3 pieces because it's a really good pattern, a really good design. We've got the base plate, and now there's the Nacet. The blade is going to stick on there.
The blade of 300 something uses.
Many uses, yes sir. I'll set those down, and and now with the blade right there, I'm always going to be very careful with it. I'm going to lay it flat on the paper, on a hand towel. I'm just going to tap it to get rid of the wetness and moisture. I'm not going to rub it or anything like that.
Yeah, that can cut the towel and your skin.
You got it. Very good. All right, folks. Thank you very much. I hope there's been something in this video that's going to help you with your shaving. And then I say good night or goodbye or have a good day. What should we do?
Good night.
All right. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves and Zach. Good night.